He's among the third tier of candidates for president on the Democratic Party side, polling between 2 to 3% nationally. But Senator Cory Booker insists his campaign is well positioned to break out following the Iowa caucuses early next year. We talked with him about that and about the issue of gun control during his visit to Vector 90, a co-working site and incubator in South LA. Senator, thanks for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
So, gun violence, it seems to me that you're interested in a variety of options, including a gun buyback perhaps nationally.
Yes.
But the focus is automatic weapons. Do I have that right?
Absolutely. Look, we are a nation that said machine guns should not be on our streets. So in 1986, we banned machine guns and did effective work stopping their transfer and more. So now you don't see those weapons being used in these mass shootings. They are using assault rifles. We should ban those assault rifles as well. They belong in military war contexts, not in the hands of folks who are trying to kill in a matter of seconds, multiple Americans in mass shootings.
To people who believe this is the camel's nose under the tent, they are strong Second Amendment rights individuals, and they see this as an incursion into a fundamental right of American livelihood.
That is such a narrow group of people who are trying to prey on people's fears and exaggerate the reality of the situation. Law-abiding citizens, nothing in my agenda at all, have nothing to worry about enjoying their Second Amendment or rights. In fact, 84 to 86% of NRA members believe we need to take steps in universal background checks and more. Why are we a country that the most common sense things that, hey, if you are on the terrorist no-fly list, and we're effectively keeping you off planes, why do we have a country now where you can still go to a gun show, go to a casual cellar, and get a trunk full of weapons to cause utter mayhem and disaster in our communities? This is not an issue. Let there be a thin group of, often funded by the corporate gun lobby, that wants to try to scare us away from the common sense things to protect our neighborhood.
Do you see it down the road, somebody saying, or a group, or the nation saying, we want to amend the Constitution? Maybe keep the Second Amendment, but let's understand in the Constitution that does not mean assault weapons.
No, that's where people want to go. This is about freedom, though. It's about, in our country, the freedom from fear, the freedom from slaughter, the freedom to send your kids to the supermarket or to go to a church without having to fear for your lives. This is about America's not capitulating, as we're doing right now in this country, telling our children, literally, we're about to start schools, and we're teaching our kids that we, the strongest nation on the planet Earth, cannot protect you, so we're going to send you to school and teach you how to hide, how to shelter in place. This isn't about taking away a person's right to own a gun. It's about doing the common sense things to make us be safe again as a nation and free from fear, which is now permeating our society in ways that are unacceptable in this country.
The front runner in this race, Vice President Joe Biden, he too says he's strong on gun control. But you said just this week that Democrats should not go for a safe bet. You were concerned with what the former vice president's wife had to say. You may not agree with him on everything, but you got to vote for the guy who can beat Trump. Polls indicate a lot of Democrats think that is the priority, defeating Donald Trump.
Well, let me just say this. We have never been a good country when we are with small aspirations. We should have bigger aspirations than just beating Donald Trump. That's the beginning, but that's a floor. It's not the ceiling. Our aspiration should be to have a movement election that doesn't just reject Donald Trump, but says, hey, we can have a nation where everyone has health care. We can have a nation where our public schools and public school teachers are elevated. We can have a nation where we're safe from fear and violence, like we're unfortunately going in the wrong direction right now. And so I don't want to be, I'm never going to triangulate or modulate my beliefs or my values or look at polls. Forget that for a second. The Democrats who won the presidency before have been movement leaders. President Barack Obama, it wasn't just a campaign, it was a movement. Bill Clinton, high voter turnouts, excitement and energy. I'm sorry, we need a leader that can excite our country, because when we don't see the kind of turnouts we need to win.
What are you going to need to do in order to win the lion's share of delegates in California in March of 2020?
Well, I am of this state, whether it's my mom who went to Manual Arts High School right here in LA, or me that got my education up at Stanford. I love this state. This is a part of me, and I'm going to make sure that by the time we come around and start the voting here, the lion's share of the voting, folks have seen us perform, winning Iowa, winning New Hampshire. And the reason why I know I'm going to do that is not because of the polls. Remember, we've never had a Democratic president come from our party since I've been alive that was leading in the polls this far out. They've usually been people that were considered a long shot, Bill Clinton, Jimmy Carter, Barack Obama, but they were organizing, out connecting with voters in places like Iowa. Hands down, everybody from the Des Moines Register to Iowa starting line says, wait a minute, Cory Booker has got the or this top 2 best organizations on the ground. We're leading in endorsements of savvy people in Iowa, state legislators. We have more endorsements than the top 5 pollers combined. We're running this the way campaigns have been won by our party all the time, on the ground, grassroots, winning them, often as an underdog, but showing that what excites people, what energizes people, aspirational visions for our country, that we can do this. And I'll say this last thing. We are not going to win this election by tearing our country apart, by pitting people against each other. There's enough of that, too much tribalism. We need leaders that are going to remind us of our common cause and our common purpose. It will get us back to the call of this country to put more indivisible back into this one nation under God. That's my focus, that's my purpose. That's the kind of leader I am going to be, uniting, healing, and get us back to solving the challenges that we all face, that are stripping dignity from work, that are having stagnant wages, that are making it harder for the average American to even have their American dream. We need to resurrect the idea of a dream, be bold and courageous and unapologetic in its pursuit, and that's what I'm going to do.
Senator Cory Booker, thank you very much for joining us.
I'm so grateful.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Yes, thank you very much.
Up next, the man behind a controversial bill in the state legislature to increase vaccination rates of California children, State Senator Richard Pan, when we return.